I just asked one thing. I heard everybody's story and everyone's scenario. So what would be the best practice? Like we talked about, I heard you guys talk about things, but no one has a best practice. And I kind of was waiting to hear that.
It depends on the situation, because like with me, if it's friends, and like I really believe if it's friends and it happens and you attempt to resolve the situation and talk with them and they don't want to talk to you, then I feel like, well, that was your season. We have a season for every little thing in life. That was your season for that person. But I feel like if it's family, you just got to keep coming back, trying to get it together. And that's if it's family, it's not abuse. If it's friends, you can say, that season has passed. And especially if you have attempted to remedy the situation. Like if you've gone back a time or two and say, like, what's going on? And they stop, then you say, okay, that's the season for your friendship.
Exactly.
But family, and it wasn't anything abusive, murder, killing, nothing like that. If it's family and y'all just stop speaking, I just feel like, to me, even if it's a month or two go by, you just got to keep coming back to see if you can mend the relationship.
Oh, I understand, because there's something that happened. It's not that maybe within the last 8 months of the family member with me, and I was actually floored. I was shocked, and I was done. I was so done with that person. But she keeps reaching out.
Are you responding?
And she gets a pass because she's my king.
Okay.
That's exactly where I was at with.
Right.
She gets a pass.
I want to go back to the best practices. So I think that was an excellent question. And so I think, I think I'm going to say pretty much the same thing Regina said, is that, if somebody really hurts your feelings, because that's what a lot of times we do get quiet and we don't speak. And maybe you could say, well, I need to process this and I'll be back.
Mm-hmm.
Versus just go off. They don't know what's going on, and so or did I, like you said, I think who said that, just go and approach them and ask them. I think it was Jennifer, you approach them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you ask them, did I do any, can we talk about let me know what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
And if that doesn't work, then, and if they decide they don't want to talk to you, there's nothing you can do about it. But I think that would probably be the best approach, is to at least try to approach them and try to have a conversation about it.
And another thing is that when
let me just one thought, and just be, I think a lot of it's amazing to me, right, how people end and destroy relationships because they just don't, because they're too fearful of talking about it. It's like, do you think it's worth at least trying to at least have a conversation about it first before you decide you're going to just sever the relationship? You see? So I'd rather not be completely honest about what I feel, because I think some of us have a hard time just being honest, about what we feel and what we really think, and rather than be honest about how we feel, we just let the relationship dissolve. Or, I'm not going to speak to you anymore.
I keep running this time thing into the ground, but a lot of times when things happen, we just we sweep things underneath the rug, and the rug becomes like this big, huge, like
it's all the stuff on the rug,
right? Like
it's inside here.
Like this rug becomes a mountain of these things that
right inside of here.
Right. Yeah, because sometimes it's like you don't have the space at that moment to deal with that situation. So it's just something else you put away. I think Marie mentioned about, put it in the drawer. Like, I'm just going to use underneath the rug analogy. Like, you just keep putting it underneath the rug to the point your rug is becoming look like a mountain. because you have so many other things that to you are so much more important that you just can't do that right now. You can't do that right now because it's like I'm gonna use this analogy. Like, I live in DC. Everybody come to DC, they go to the monument. I'm like, I've been here 40 years. I haven't done it yet. No, I mean, I did do that. But the point is, you'll get to it because it's just not that important right now because other things are so much more important.
But let me tell you what happens.
It's not like you don't value a friendship. It's not that. It's that you got things that's really make a difference in your life. And this little spit you're having is not going to make that much of a difference. So I will get back to that later. And then what happens is you never get back to it. You never get back to it. Not because you don't care. It's that you moved on to so many other things that just kind of stayed there. Yeah,
but what happens is then you don't get back to it. Then something else gets said and done, and now it triggers you because it's still in there, not dealt with.
That's right, exactly.
Right, and so all that stuff, just like you said, it builds up, and at some point, if you want to be,
at some point you're gonna have to climb that mountain, right? You have to climb that mountain underneath that carpet. You have to climb that mountain and dissect and go through and try to figure out what it is, if it's important enough to you. And with sometimes, again, timing. Sometimes when you go back, you're like, really? I was really upset about that?
Exactly. That's the other thing. You sleep on stuff because sometimes you make
you're
a
like, seriously?
Right.
Am I really giving that this much energy? Like, it really doesn't matter.
What would I tell young girls? What would I tell them? I have 6 young ladies. I have a daughter and I have 6 granddaughters, no boys. So every day I'm telling them that they're queens and how beautiful they are. And I always tell them, love yourself. You got to love yourself first and always show love, regardless if people don't show love to you. And I said, that's what makes the world go round. Everybody's not going to love you. Everybody's not going to like you. But you have to learn how to deal with those people when you come in contact with them. Just know that. Don't be ignorant to the fact. And I told them, life is full of choices. You have a choice to stay. You have a choice to go. It's a series of choices. That's life. And they understand that now. What else did I tell them? And I tell them so much. And I tell them, understand that I have years and years of wisdom. Right. And if you need to know something, call me. Don't go to your friends in the street. Call me. And I'll never ever tell you anything wrong. I'll never guide you in the wrong direction. I'm not going to tell you to go out there and shoot heroin. I'm not going to tell you to go out there and sell your body or anything like that. I'm going to tell you what not to do, and I'm going to tell you how to maintain yourself as a young woman. I would like to bring my 16-year-old and possibly my 22-year-old granddaughter on our next Sister Space. Okay. And so we could hear from them as young ladies.
Great. Yeah, it'd be great to hear. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But I would just tell them, I always tell them, focus on you, focus on your education, focus on those things, focus on, just loving yourself, really. Yeah. Because we have to learn how to love ourselves first, I believe, before we love anybody else.
Right. And so I'm saying women in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s.
Okay.
And I'm saying in terms of the best practices this whole thing about not speaking, so like when you're feeling hurt or you're feeling disappointed, or when you're feeling like, or how you address people when you walk in the room, regardless of those kind of.
Okay.
Anybody else want to share before we wrap this up?
I'm going to say something. One of the things that I do, I have 3 kids, old kids, they act like grandparents. So one of the things that we have this thing that we get together, like on Saturday, we do a virtual meeting, anything that's going on, people, you're allowed to vent. So one of the things that we came up with is that when something bothers you, whether it be each other or outside, you got 24 hours to think about it. You sleep on it 24 hours. The next day when you get up, if you still feel that way about the person, then you need to approach it. But if not, then some things you just have to let them go.
Let
You
it
have to be
go.
comfortable.
Yeah.
And you have to be comfortable with that.
Right.
And that wraps up the session. I'm just kidding.
Well, I like that 24-hour thing, because that's kind of what how I approach. Yeah, I like that because I sleep on, when I really can't resolve something, I'm like, I have to go to sleep and let the ancestor world, spirit world, dream world, whatever you want to call it, tell me what, you give me an approach, a way to approach it. So that makes so much sense. And like Darlene said, you wake up, you be like, really, did I really feel that bad? You know, did I really go through all that, put all that energy into that? And then you realize sometimes we completely misinterpreted and misunderstood stuff.
Right.
So,
we overprocess things. That's the problem. We overprocess things.
We're hypersensitive about everything, about a lot of things. We think people are saying or doing something, and it has nothing. They're not even thinking about you. It has no bearing on. They're just being who they are.
Right.
You lose sleep thinking about them, and they've moved on with their life.
Right.
Right.
I would just want to add to Darlene Ross's statement, because I agree with that 24-hour thing. Only sometimes it takes me like 7 days. I have to pray everything away. So sometimes, I mean, a lot of times if it's really hard, it's really deep, I'll take like 7 days really and just like keep praying about it and figure out how to work it out. But I agree with you with that 24-hour thing.
Pray about it.
But I just want
great
answers.
Yeah,
I echo what Darlene and Marie said about love yourself. That's how I felt. Like, just what I would say to young women: love yourself and be kind. Respect yourself. Respect others, and everything else will fall into place.
Yeah.
You can't change people. Don't worry about the other person. Just focus on you. If you focus on being the best that you can be, things will fall into place. That's what I believe. And one thing about it definitely won't hurt.
I like to add to that in terms of, because some people, that's all they do is focus on themselves. That's the problem. But I would like to say, like, it's just not cool. It's just not cool to walk into a room when other people are there and not speak.
Yeah, that's just absolutely
It's just not cool. So I just had to put that out there.
It's not cool because that's what our upbringing was. That was one of the main things that families focused on raising their kids. If you don't do nothing else, you're taught when you get up in the morning and you walk into a room that
you say something.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So you walk into anytime you go into a place, it's on you to speak. Good morning, hello, hey everybody, or what have you. Once you've done that, how they respond or don't respond, that's on them at that point. But it's not easy as we grow up. But I think you have to take people as they are. You have to recognize that sometimes they're just ignorant. They don't know any better. They weren't taught any better. And even if they were, they're so obstinate that they just not going to do whatever. And so what you gonna do with that other than just do what you should do and just keep it moving? Try to anyway.
Yeah.
And I think even if you don't like anybody, you can still be courteous.
Right. Exactly.
Like,
that's
even
what
if I
I'm
don't
saying.
like you, I still can be courteous.
You can, but then if
I might
someone
not like you. Yeah, I might like you or not like you. Whatever the issue is, just be courteous.
Right. You can, but there's a lot of people that's not courteous.
Even if
they
you're
don't
not
care.
courteous, you don't have to be rude.
Right. That's how a lot of people are. They're rude and they're not courteous. What do you do with that? That's what they are. So many people are nowadays. It seems as though the majority of society is so nasty and so rude, and they don't care what they say, how they say it, who they say it to, or whatever.
But there's nothing that we can do about that.
They're ignorant. Right. Exactly.
We can't test them.
Exactly.
We can't control that.
Right.
But that's why I say you just gotta focus on you. Like
my point.
Do the right thing. And
that's right. Yeah.
Do the right thing.
So I guess the takeaway here would be that you all, you, me, all of us, we all have to give accountability for ourselves.
Exactly.
And our actions, everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can't change and make anybody else do whatever we think they should do.
And we can't respond negatively to something for all the negative energy that we get. Like if someone just throwing out negative energy, if you throw it right back, it's just who can win, right?
Right, exactly.
Be kind and take care of each other.
Yeah. Right. I work in funeral services, and not you can work anywhere, but you can just deal with people and their level and so on and so forth. And sometimes you got to make quick decisions because funeral director assaulted me, and I was about to go off. And everything that I dealt with probably in the last 10 years, she would have gotten. I had to make a quick decision. And that I could have called the police. I chose not to.
Physical assault.
Yeah. She slapped me in my face with a folder, and she kind of rustled up on me. And she, her lifestyle, she chooses, lesbianism, and she came at me like she was gonna do something crazy to me, but she don't know. She's the wrong person
on the wrong day.
Okay. So I
had
not
walk this way.
Huh?
So you better not walk this way.
No. I'm telling you, she would have gotten everything that's been bottled up in me for the last 10 years, and I would have been probably on my way to prison right now. I had to make a quick decision that day, and I thank God that I made the decision to leave and walk away from her. And I told my boss, I said, until you could create a safe environment for me, I'm not coming back. Well, you know what happened? For me, the Lord took me out of that environment, and let me tell you something. Had she not committed that assault on me, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. And one day I'll tell you where I am. God opened up so many windows and doors. And if I tell you, everybody's going to say, wow. That's what everybody's been saying to me. Wow. Wow. So sometimes he'll pull you out of those situations and you don't even understand why.
Right.
And sometimes you got to go through those really bad times to get to the good times. I am being overwhelmed right now with goodness because I made that decision not to whoop her tail.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And not to go off and hurt her, Right. So it saved her. It saved me from going to prison because, like I said, those 10 years or more of stuff would have come out on her. But, I just believe God opened up this window of heaven. He poured. I'm overwhelmed with blessings right now.
Amen.
Overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes I understand it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And sometimes things happen to shake it up so that you can go on and move on to the next. Next
so just show love in every situation. I walked up and I said, you know what? I'm not going to deal with you. I'm going to let somebody else do it. And for me, that was God. Okay.
That's right.
That's all I got to say.
Ms. Clark, did you have anything?
I'll add to it is basically what everyone's been saying. I think best practices, it's subjective. You know you best. And I think sometimes people actually know what they really need to do, but they just seek validation by asking others about it. Right. So what works best for me and what I need to do may not match up with someone else. I know if I walk in a room and if I feel some kind of way and I feel like I should be saying something, I know that. I know that. So I just think it's subjective and it's up to each individual what their best practices are. I think we all know what the wrong thing to do, like the glaring wrong thing to do, but those little tiny changes, those little, simple things, it depends on who you are as a person and the situation you're dealing with.
Exactly.
So I think it's a little bit fluid.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to sum it up again with a quote from Bell Hooks, where she says here, it's important also for Black women to practice speaking in loving and caring in a loving and caring manner about what we appreciate about one another. For such an action makes it evident to all observers of our social reality that Black women deserve care, respect, and ongoing affirmation. So with that, I'm going to close out.
Okay.
Thank you, ladies.
Nice to meet everybody. Gina, nice to meet you, girl.
All right. Thank you. All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.